A1. 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 Yeah. Truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show that's cooler and flyer too. A1 Forever Sports. I am Chris Tipmore, back with another episode for you guys. This here, I want to introduce a new segment to you guys as we're continuously trying to grow this channel, grow more subscribers, get to that 1,000-yard mark and beyond. NFL football season, of course, is here, so that means fantasy football is here as well. And here at A1 Forever Sports, we have a few tips and tricks, we're going to be giving you guys over the course of the fantasy football season, help with the waiver wire, help with your lineups here and there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Moore, our fantasy specialist here at A1 Forever Sports. Dr. Moore, the floor is yours. I relinquish to you, sir. Please help our subscribers and viewers with your prescriptions here. Hello. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Moore, here to bring you sports fantasy football prescriptions for your fantasy lineups this season. Now, I know everyone is an expert in their own right, yet at this practice, I like to help my subscribers as much as I possibly can this NFL season. I'm what you call a late draft doctor, which means I wait a few days before the season starts to draft. I do this to give teams as much time as they need to get their affairs in order, signings, injuries, the works, Now, usually, for me, I like to target number ones on the team, simply because they're going to get good and bad attention, which means they'll be targeted on the offense, and certain defense will have the ability to roll coverage and take them away. That's fine. That's why you have to do your due diligence on players, schedule, stats, weather, tempo, and the possibility of alien abduction when picking and choosing which number ones to take and which ones to bypass and get that number 2 option on the team. Now, the backup or number 2 receiver is just that, guys, but it's only so many wonderful possibilities once you calculate and mix and match your 1s, 2s, and sleepers. We'll go over that more as the fantasy football season unveils itself. Now, I do want to give you something, though. I'm going to give you 3 running backs that you can draft late to help you in your fantasy. 1, Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears. Now, David Montgomery is the starter in Chi-Town, but Herbert averaged 4.4 yards per carry last year and is most likely the reason for Damien Williams not to be re-signed and had to move on. Now, Herbert is predicted to have more carries than Montgomery as the season goes on, and Herbert is a sleeper in the draft and can be found in later rounds as guys are just bypassing him. Damien Harris of the New England Patriots. Last season, Harris had 15 touchdowns and almost 5 yards per carry. Now, it's uncertainty because, New England shares this workload with his running backs and his players. And Stevenson is the better athlete, if I do say so myself from my own perspective. Still, James White retired. Brandon Bolden moved on. So he's no longer an obstacle as well. I would go on to get Harris maybe in the later rounds if pressed for running back, as he will still get plenty of touches and goal line work. Now, this third one is a little tricky, but Cordarrelle Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I guess some people have been reading the USA Today or buying into the Atlanta Falcons being terrible this year. That's neither here or there. I'm here to tell you about the fantasy option. Patterson is one of the best flex options with the ability to create out the backfield and as wide receiver. Now, last year, Patterson had a good year in fantasy football despite struggling toward the end of the season last year a bit. This is a risky move because Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, they're both faster than Matt Ryan. More fleet of foot, as people would say, right? Mobile quarterbacks normally don't check down as much, but I'm going to leap out the window with this one and say that Marcus Mariota will be smarter, but just because he's had previous injuries, and will check down when he needs to and take off as much as he needs to as well. Both points about the Falcons team and quarterbacks are likely the reasons why Patterson is going outside the top 100 and actually being overlooked as I'm looking at some of the fantasy drafts. Don't be afraid of Cordarrelle Patterson. Honorable mention, Rashard Penny of the Seattle Seahawks. Penny has absolutely no obstacles in his way. Chris Carson forced to retire, and Kenneth Walker III is recovering from surgery. Penny is a sleeper, but he won't be slept on for long, so if you can grab him later in rounds, get him. Well, this has been Dr. Moore with your fantasy football's prescriptions. Good luck out there on that fantasy football gridiron. What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the prescriptions from Dr. Moore. I was actually writing down some tips and tricks from him myself. Hope you were as well. But that's all for now here. Until next time, be generational because it's always time to be. Why settle for less when you can have more with a vision? A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too. Chris Tip Moore. I'll holler at y'all.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam.